Oke,
Buka.
ini di Swapcard juga berarti udah live streaming ya, Pak Angga ya?
Betul, Mas.
Oke, kalau gitu selamat malam teman-teman semua di sini yang baik di Zoom ataupun di Swapcard. Jadi untuk malam ini saya akan memperkenalkan teman saya, guru saya. Beliau adalah Profesor Manuel dari Meksiko. Beliau dan untuk kesempatan kali ini kita akan live streaming di 2 platform. Jadi di Zoom dan di Swapcard, dan masing-masing tidak bisa saling melihat partisipan ya, tapi saya lihat sih udah lumayan banyak, jadi bisa kita mulai aja. Dan di kesempatan kali ini kita juga akan dipandu oleh Mbak Teresia sebagai interpreter di event kali ini. Jadi selanjutnya akan jadi moderator adalah Mbak Teresia. Silakan Mbak Teresia.
Oke, selamat malam Mas Rizky, Prof. Manuel, and partisipan malam hari ini. Webinar ini akan dilaksanakan dengan bahasa Inggris, dan saya akan bantu kalau ada kesulitan di translation-nya. Jadi sedikit tentang kami atau MR Indonesia. Kami event organizer Event 360 Indonesia, dan salah satu event kami adalah MR Indonesia 2022. Kita hybrid tahun ini, salah satunya dari platform digital Swapcard, dan offline-nya akan ada di Agustus mendatang. Jadi hari ini sangat bangga untuk bisa mengundang Prof. Manuel dari Meksiko untuk jadi salah satu narasumber di MR Indonesia. Bagi teman-teman yang nanti tertinggal atau nggak bisa join live session, bisa masuk ke Swapcard digital. Nanti akan ada link untuk registrasi ke Swapcard. Kalau ketinggalan, nanti ada magic link, tinggal klik aja ke magic link dan bisa langsung akses Swapcard-nya. Mungkin dari beberapa yang di sini udah dapat magic link untuk ke Swapcard. Jadi bisa dieksplor di Swapcard itu, kita bisa langsung ngobrol sama partners-partners kita. Ada beberapa brand dari 3M, terus panel surya dari IoT, ada Nagase, dan teman-teman yang lainnya. So, good evening here and good morning there, Mr. Manuel or Manuel Sang. So, first of all, thank you so much, and we are so honored that you can be one of our speaker in MR Indonesia this year. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, of course. Thank you very much. It's a very great pleasure to be with you. My name is Manuel Suarez Barraza. I will have the honor to present my new book. The new book is around Kaizen. That is the Japanese Mayan model that gives meaning to each day of you in your life. I will tell about me in just a few minutes. If you want to translate that, please.
Oke, jadi saat ini Mr. Manuel sedang menulis bukunya tentang Kaizen, a Japanese model that gives meaning to each day of your life. Jadi bagaimana Kaizen itu bisa membantu dalam kehidupan kita sehari-hari.
Thank you, Teresia. I am an engineer for my profession, a biochemical engineer, and in 1994, 1995, I have the opportunity to make a postgraduate in Japan. This postgraduate was called Company-Wide Quality Control and Continuous Productivity. In that opportunity, I have to be a student, an apprentice for great senseis, great teachers in Japanese models, to TPS, Toyota Production System model. Some of them, Akira Takanaka sensei, Takeuchi sensei, or Shigeru Mizuno sensei, that will produce the company-wide quality control models in Japan. Can you catch me? I speak a lot.
Ya, Mas Rizky, ini mau ditranslate satu-satu atau Mr. Manuel langsung aja?
Thank you. I was in Chusan Ren, Central Industrial Association. It was a company that made consultant and made training managers for Toyota, Mazda, and another Japanese automobile industry. Also, I studied in the Sofia University, and I made my master degree in that sense. And I started to study the Kaizen philosophy.
Jadi Mr. Manuel bisa berguru dari Jepang dengan para master-master dari Jepang. Salah satunya fokus di Kaizen Philosophy.
Thank you. And to the end of my visit and my stay in Japan, I was Kaizen engineering training in Toyota Motor Corporation. I was in the Tsutsumi plant, and I started in that moment to understand the concept in deep.
So I guess Mr. Manuel Sang, you can just continue. If there is a question that the participant don't understand, they will chat us after this session.
Thank you. Yes, of course. Thank you. And finally, for my academic issues, I was studying my PhD in management science at the SADE in Barcelona. And I was focused also in my research topics in Kaizen in all different sectors, started with manufacturing, also services. And also I was focused in public services because we need also in that. And at that point, I started to make some different publications. I had around now 60 different peer review and indexed papers, scientific papers about Kaizen. You can see here in the slide a picture about the author profile generated by Scopus. Scopus here you can see in the level. Scopus, and the Scopus is one of the biggest important scientific issues and certification programs in the world. And you can see now in Scopus I had 34 documents and around 600 citations about my documents. Also in Google Scholar Google, I had also around here we have the 64 documents, and here I have around 2,333 citations at that moment. So this is my career. I dedicated an academic issue, but also I was working in a Mexican bread company, and also I was working in engineering in a Mexican oil company, and I dedicate all my life to understand and to apply the Kaizen philosophy in different sectors. Are you going to translate, Teresa?
No, Manuel Sang. I think all the participants understand English, but if there is a question, we will answer it in Q&A session.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I was thinking that we were going to make the translation for each part, but it's okay. I will continue. Okay, if they have any questions, please let me know. Okay. So let's start the conference. We are going to talk at the beginning of the mood of the organization in the 21st century. What happened in the organizations in our world today? Today is a very complex reality. From my point of view, is a turbulent and chaotic environment in management. Because you can see all the organization in this situation. It's very difficult. We are in a pandemic. We are in a started war between Ukraine and Russia. We are working in a very complex environment because all the leaders had to try to make to reduce cost, to make the instruction for the managers, and moving around all the situations for what happened with the middle managers. The middle managers you can see here, you can see the middle managers over there. Middle managers also try to make different points to all the workers. Yeah, the workers is very hard workers and try to move around. Yeah, moving around with the fire, all the fires that is the problems or muda is moving over there in your operations, in your process, and every day is moving around. And here you can see an empty big canyon between the leaders, the managers, and barriers and the workers. This is the new reality. It's difficult, this reality. The International Labour Organization indicates that the 40% of the global GDP of the loss annually due to stress, depression, anxiety generated at work. Much of this goes hand in hand with workplace accidents due to distractions and mistakes made at the work. You can see that is very complex. 4% of the GDP in the world is around the stress of the workers, because the environment is a very complex issue. And we can try to make a better management, but in the situation now, we are in a very, very difficult, complex management in this world. Can you see this image? Everybody? What happened with this image? Come on, let me know if you have to tell me by the chat. Just a little bit. What do you observe in the image? What do you observe in the image? What happened?
So the boat is sinking.
The boat is sinking, yeah. The boat is sinking, and some of them is working very hard to help the boat, yeah.
Yeah.
And another they say, we are happy, it's not ours.
Yeah. But actually, they're in the same boat, right?
It's the same boat. That's the big reflection about this situation. Yeah, we are in the same boat, and the boat is sinking, but nobody do nothing, or somebody do something, and somebody don't do something. That is happening in most of the organization. We call this kind of organization bureaucratic mechanistic. I don't know if you want to translate that, but it's some kind of classification of the organizations. They started at the beginning of the 20th century, at the beginning of the 20th century, with Frederick Taylor and Max Weber theories. But most of this organization is happening like that. Somebody try to work, somebody don't have to work. And Peter Drucker said, for example, that much of what we call management is to make people have a hard time doing their job well. So if Peter Drucker, one of the great gurus of the management, said that we are in a very difficult situation in our organization. If you can see the organization around, you can see the organization that is a very difficult environment, external environment. Then we go inside of the organization and we can see this kind of phenomenon. The process, the organizational process of us is moving around like that. You can see the process here. You can see the process. You can see the green lines and the red lines. Yes. And then what happened to the work process? The work process for our organizations in this kind of organization, bureaucratic mechanistic, are invisible for the people, because the people don't understand very well that they work in process. Most of them, they say, we are working in a position, yeah, clear position, and we are working for our boss. That's all. Also, it's a clear departmental focus, and also it's a clear lack of internal customer. And you can see the muda plus muda is moving around about in the operations on the process in our organization. I will explain what is a muda. Don't worry. Just let me explain a few minutes about that. And also, what happened with this kind of organization? There is any kind of reward and no value-added activities, because most of the activities is a reward for some problem that is happened, and then you have to do it again. And we live like that in our organization. It's very difficult. We live in every moment. I will tell you a story, a small story about that. In 1989, in Argentina, yeah, they discovered a big Brachiosaurus. This is big animal. You can see here in the picture. Yeah, the Argentinos call the Argentinosaurus because it's the biggest one that discovered in all over the world. What happened with this animal? It was very interesting. This animal has 60 meters of height, 48, 50 meter long, 110 tons weight. The leg is between 2.5 and 3 meters, the leg, and the neck is between 10 or 12 meters. Can you see? It's the size of the bus, one big bus. So what is a very interesting point here? They are velociraptors. You know the velociraptors, Teresia, is okay with this, the velociraptors. Bite in the leg of the Argentinosaurus and move the signal to say the Argentinosaurus brain, move the leg. what happened when the signal came down again? The Argentinosaurus lose his leg. So this analogy, and then made for the paleontology science, what had to be, or what had to be, or what had to be, or what is the relationship with our process issue? Well, the relationship is very clear. In the legs are in the process there. Here is we have muda, that's velociraptors are the muda. If we had to move the signal to the top manager direction, and then we had to go down, it would be very late for some organizations, because the muda is around over there and moving around and bite you every day in your operational process. So we live like that. We have very clear problems in the process. We have very clear problems with the persons, and the persons move around in their boat or everywhere, but we need that, yeah? We need, with our employees, try to call and try to move around the shared vision. But we are not moving around in this kind of alignment, because most of organization is moving around like that, because we are very, very far away for the continuous improvement of our operations. And big question for everybody, still, are we working like this? Still, we are working like in the 20th century. At the beginning of the 20th century is real. You can see a lot of dinosaurs working in a very old methods for all over the years, and it was working, and it was designed at the beginning of the 20th century. Yeah, 1905, 1910. Taylor wrote his book in 1911. You can see. Principle of scientific management is very old now. And this kind of issues and this kind of ideas and this kind of management in this new environment sometimes will look like this, working like that with some very old ideas in a new environment that we are now. So let's go to the second subject. Is there any questions, any comment? Everything is okay?
Manuel-san, I want to ask you about the terms of lack of internal customer. What do you mean by that on the previous slide?
Here.
Yes.
Lack of internal customer, yeah?
Yes,
here?
yes, yeah.
That is a very interesting point here. Usually, you know, in Kaizen issue, the next process is our customer. We say that is a kind of philosophy. If we are here, if you are an employee here, for example, you are employee A here, and we have employee B here, yeah, usually you work for this employee B because you are making something in the process for another body is going to receive the another part of the process. This is a working process that somebody is going to receive. This person B, we can call client, yeah, customer, internal customer. But usually it's not happen like that because most of the people working by his boss.
Ah, I see. Okay.
And here is a barrier. Yes, you can see here. There is a big barrier between departments. This is department A, and this is department B. Yeah. And I cannot, I had to share because it's part of the process, but I don't care what happened with department B. Yeah, I will do it, but I don't care. I just follow the instruction of the person that is my boss. That is a big problem in the 21st century because we are working like 20th century organization, bureaucratic mechanistic organization, and create big barriers between departments. Some academics call that black holes, you know, black hole like in the stars, yeah. Somebody is in a department A is a big black hole, and somebody is in the department B is a big black hole, and everybody's working like that.
Okay. Yeah. Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to the Muda waste concept. Muda waste concept was created by Taiichi Ono sensei in the middle of the 60s in Toyota. What is a Muda? Muda is a Japanese word. It's a Japanese word we can define it like waste, any kind of waste. If we try to make a definition more deeply, we said Muda is any activity that consumes resources and does not meet customer requirements. A very important point.
Hey, hello,
It's okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
So the muda is moving around in any organization like this, because the organizations try to make activities that get value added for the customer. But sometimes it's not happen like that, because the muda is moving around for the workers in another situation. Let's see what kind of muda do we have. Let's see what kind of muda do we have in our organization. Ono said that we have at least 7 kinds of muda. Overproduction muda, that is produce more than you need really. The Japanese call the overproduction muda, they call the killer. Yes, this is a killer, yeah, because we are going to produce a lot of high stops that will produce holding costs, yeah, holding inventory costs. Then we have delay muda. I will explain a lot after that. Then we have transport muda. Then we had high stock muda, that is a twin brother of overproduction, yeah. If the overproduction muda is the killer, high stock muda is the serial killer, because you're going to die very quickly with that, yeah. Then we had the movement muda. Movement muda and transport muda is similar, but they say, what is the difference? Well, transport muda is about moving around materials, yeah, flow of materials, and movement muda is about movement of the workers, yeah, that is related with ergonomy. And finally, defeat muda, that is classic muda, that is related with any kind of defeat or problem with the final output of our process. Here you can see some image about the muda ways, and there are a lot of situations that we can present in our organization that you can accumulate inventory that we call the serial killer. Waiting for material, I like it. I love this delay muda because it's one of the classic mudas in the 21st century. Everybody is doing something, but sometimes it's don't doing nothing. Okay, then we have temporary stage. Then we have searching for tools. Then we have machine failures. Then we have rewards. Then we have defects. Then we had counting number of parts when using in automatic technology environment. You can see counting parts in the 21st century. Wow. Washing machine runs. Wow, these are so many workers is in front of a machine. Is like that over there. And you can see people that, what are you doing over there? And the worker said, oh, I'm watching the machine. And what kind of value added is that for you? Nothing, because you are doing nothing in that moment. And sometimes these workers, as they spend time around 1 hour or 2 hours over there, you can see that it's really impressive. We are in this environment moving around in all issues in our work. Okay, I will finish the second subject. Any questions? Questions? Comments?
Not yet.
I think, yeah, I think you can continue.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. We are going to introduce the Kaizen philosophy. That is a very interesting point. As I already told you at the beginning of the conference, I was studying in Japan in Sophia University and Chusan Ren company. And I was spent around 2.5 years in Japan learning this issue. After that, when I made my PhD, I discovered more in deep the concept. Let's start to introduce the concept. It maybe some of you understand the concept because maybe Rizky-san in his book explain a lot, but I will want to go in deep a little bit about the kanjis issues. Kaizen is a combination of 2 kanjis. Kanji is the name of ideogram in Japanese. The first kanji we pronounce kai, but the meaning is change of continuity. The second kanji we pronounce sen, the concept of good to improve benefits and even common of benefit. Sometimes they call it a rebirth, an awakening. So when we study the kanjis in deep, we said this kanji was at the beginning a person. You see, here there is the head, here the arms, then his legs, and here is a person here in this kanji. In fact, it was the old kanji or person because the first kanji in person was Hito. In the actually kanji we call Hito. But in the old ancient times we call this person this kanji. Then they said here in this part we have the self, and somebody said that in this part we have the weak, a weak that the self person auto regulation and move the weak about what himself do it. That is the meaning of change. And the second kanji is a tree. Okay, here we can see the leaves in front of the tree and the roots. So what is the meaning real of the kanji? When we study Kaizen, indeed, what is the real meaning of Kaizen in the kanji's issue? We understand Kaizen like the person we take care of internal tree to change and grow every day. Can you see that? So we wanted to make organizational Kaizen organizations. We need to create and develop persons, Kaizen persons. We have to develop Kaizen people in our organization. That's a big issue in the 21st century environment of management, because we forget many times the people. We forget that the people is over there, but it's a kind of number, like a machine is moving around, is a resource, but the people is more than that. If you wanted to make a continuous improvement organizational culture in your organization, you have to create people who develop his own and take care of his own tree. That is meaning his own personally, he's meaning his own emotion, he's meaning his own interests, and he's meaning his own purpose to grow every day that is moving around. So let's continue. And there are some values that is inside of this definition, guys. Here we have at least 4 of them. One of them is honor. Honor, we can define it as accomplish of the work. It's very important to define the accomplish of the work because it's related with issues like punctuality, responsibility, and workers and you have to understand this point at the beginning and that issue. Honor is a part of that in every day of our work. Yeah, there is a question?
Yes,
Yes.
Arlen speaking.
Yes.
This interesting what you mentioned before on the slide before that. Yeah, that's a person that who takes care of his internal tree to change and growth. So in Indonesia, that we have some a big issue that a lot of the people that always mention that Kaizen is only for a person that improve in the business operation. So what do you think, and how to convince a lot of people that already have a mindset that you are a Kaizen person, so you only match on the job profile only in the operation. So this is big issue in Indonesia, basically, that we already study. So do you have a suggestion that how to create the mindset to open that people that this is Kaizen not only for the people that only not to grow in the business operation, but it can be useful in any of area in the industry and all of division. So do you have any suggestion in your countries?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Thank you, Arlen, for the question. That's a very interesting question. I think we have in the 21st century 2 or 3 big mistakes about Kaizen philosophy. One of them is that you already talked about that is Kaizen is just allowed for the people that is in operation area. That is a very big mistake. Second one is that everybody understands Kaizen like an event of 1 week and everybody disappear after the event. And the third one, they understand that Kaizen is just for small improvements. And yes, that's a very big mistake, because in my sensei always said that everybody is involved in Kaizen. Everybody is involved in Kaizen. Everyone, managers and workers alike in every kind of organizations. In my sensei still is my sensei. I wrote my first book in 2007 by his supervisor. And always we said Kaizen is around all over organization. It's around everybody in the organization. Is continuous improvement in every movement and every level of your life. It's also in your personal life, also in your social family life, and it's moving around in permanent issue. That's the first point. So it's not just for operational persons. It's not just for operational department. It's for everybody. This is the first point.
Yeah.
Second point is can be in any kind of sector. In 10 years ago, I'm moving around all of kind of sector. I was working in service sectors. I was working in support process, for example, accountability, human resource process. See, also, that's a very important issue. Is in any kind of process we can eliminate muda, because if we say the muda is only in the operational process, why? The muda is not only operational process, muda is over everybody. All kind of process we have muda. We have in service sector, public sector, support process, everywhere. So this is another one. And the third one is a continuous and permanent process. It's not just an event. If you wanted to implement Kaizen event, it's okay, but you have to combine with a permanent events, with permanent practice management of Kaizen every day. That's an important point, because I make my definition like this. Kaizen is a management philosophy that generates incremental and sometimes radical improvement in the work methods or work process in every kind of process, which allows to reduce waste and consequently improve work performance and employee satisfaction.
Agree with you.
Because thank you, Arlen, thank you. Because it's not just to improve the work process, the work performance of the process, and to eliminate muda in the process, it's also to try to people grow with you in this process. That is employee satisfaction or moral satisfaction, when you want to say that about that, but we have to increase this development of the people around the world. If we misunderstand the Kaizen issue, we are in a big problem in organization, because we're going to produce a new muda. The new muda is fail to understand Kaizen. Yeah, because we're going to make improvement actions that is not related with the philosophy. And to the end, we are going to have more problems than we had at the beginning.
Yeah, thank you. So another implication of in Indonesia that, some of the people that already have a mindset that Kaizen is only for business operation. Some of my colleagues that they are already knowing well about Kaizen, but sometimes they only have a mindset Kaizen in only for business improvement. So for business operation, so they already graduated from Toyota, and then after that, some of the my colleagues that only lecture for the trainer for the only business operation like QCC Kaizen event, like quality control circle in Indonesia is this common event for the Kaizen practice. So, but that's only in the business operation area. So I always ask to my colleagues that why you only focusing Kaizen in only several operation area, but they answer that yes, this is a Kaizen. This is for operation improvement only, Arlen. So I'm just confused. Okay, I'm not doing the debate with some kind of people that so small mindset about the Kaizen. So Kaizen is just that's the philosophy to everyone to improve. So not only in the several area, but in all of aspect, I think. So my point is, so what do you mean that we, as a practitioner of Kaizen in Indonesia, we should combine with, we should cooperate with the HR, you think?
Yeah.
Human resource, okay.
Actually, HR is a very important area to move around, because HR in some organizations, at least in USA, Europe, and some countries of Latin America, is one of the staff to help the continuous improvement effort, the Kaizen efforts. Because the HR administrate the QCC or Kaizen teams or QC circle, they administrate that because it's a part of the performance of the workers. So HR had to help to you to do it in that. Of course, if you want to say the CEO want to develop his own continuous improvement area, staff area, you can do it also like that. But we have to have a relationship, very strong relationship with the human resource area. It's a very important issue. But I would like to make a reinforce, to push the concept that the Kaizen, it will be in all the areas, in all the process. When I was working in Toyota, we are doing in operational areas, of course, we Suksumi plan, but also we started to do it in administrative and support process. So we have QCC also in administrative and support process. Now I was working in the middle of the night. Then all the process, all the areas, all the departments are involved in the Kaizen efforts. If you are thinking like that, you are closing your mindset about the Kaizen philosophy about that. It's just operational improvement. It's not just a Kaizen philosophy. Please,
correctly.
I will to remark that. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I hope audience in this seminar will have an open mindset about the Kaizen. Thank you once again. So.
Thank you, Arlen. Thank you. Okay, I will continue, Erlan.
Yes,
okay.
Please. Thank you.
Please, okay. I was in the values. I will finish the values because it's an important point here in the values. I will already talk about honor. We are going to talk about discipline and constancy. That is important. Discipline and constancy is one of the 2 or 3 values that's most important in Kaizen philosophy. Why? Because discipline is the way to follow a method. Okay, if you have the standard worksheet, you have to follow the method, the standard worksheet, and that moving around. I was thinking in a service example because in order to break down this mindset that you have in Indonesia about the Kaizen is just for operational process. For example, in one restaurant, when I teach one restaurant Kaizen, one of the waiters say to me, it's very difficult to me to follow the instruction for the supervisor. And I say, come on, you have to follow just the standard that we already talked. How to make an excellent attention to the customer when you are in the table. And you have to follow these 5 steps. Please always be kind with the customer. Second, give them a big smile. Share. Please keep and listen very well what is the order about your food and the beverage. And 4th one, register everyone, but don't forget that. This is a standard one in service process with a waiter. If everybody follow in a disciplined way, in a constancy way, we are going to follow this standard and we execute and we will make a performance of the process in a very excellent way. What happened with that? What happened with that if you don't follow? We had to find a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of error, a lot of muda around the world. So if we understand the Kaizen and this issue as a people that try to take care every day his internal tree to change and grow. If you understand the Kaizen that we are people with honor, that work very hard, with a big commitment, with a big responsibility, in a disciplined way, in a constancy way, in a teamwork. Sometimes we made the QCC movements, and sometimes the Kaizen event movements. What is moving around, we are in the philosophy. So we need to develop people. We need to develop people to grow. So I will go to the 4th subject because it's an important issue to finish my presentation. In the last years, I wanted to start to make a relationship in a model that it tried to develop these people in a complex environment of the 21st century. Here we are going to have this model. So at the beginning, we started with the Japanese culture. We already talked about that. And this is a concept that is very profound concept. I don't know if in Indonesia knows or knows about this concept that is called Ikigai. Ikigai is the purpose of the people to grow. So to understand the Ikigai in Japanese culture is important because they know what happened every day and the worker has his own purpose on his life every day. even though that is a very small activity, we have this small activity for you, it doesn't matter because you have a purpose for your life. So if we combine these kanjis, the ikigai, the first two kanjis means life, and the second one means profit, benefits. So when we call ikigai, we call the things that give you reason or meaning to your life. That is called also the reason to life, the passion to life, the reason I get up every morning, and the reason of my existence. We have to looking for the people to do that every day. Yes, because the Kaizen is to growing, to take care of your own tree and growing every day. We have to find this purpose of your life to do that. One example, let's make one example that is very interesting. There is a case very interesting that is called, this person is called Hiroki Fujita-san. He was working in the Tsukiji market. His own task is to looking for the best tuna bull, yeah, the best tuna bull in all the market. Why? Because his work is to find the best tuna bull for all the restaurant of sushi in Tokyo. Yeah. So, but they say, everybody say, well, that's very normal. This is a person that he has his own job. But one point, very important point, that this person have 96-year-old. And he was working around 70 years in the same work. What is the motivation behind to get up every morning to look in the best tuna bull in the Tsukiji market? The motivation is his own ikigai, because his passion is to be the best explorer for the tuna bull every day, to find the best tuna bull for his own clients. That's a very important point, because most of us, we are stressing, we are sometimes in depression, we are in a stress pressure of the work. And they say, well, this work, I don't like it. I'm very tired of this work. I want to quit of this work. But as a worker, you have to find this purpose of your life. Another example, let's go to another example. I don't know if you know, but this is the best restaurant of sushi in the world. Tsukibashi Hiro is in Tokyo, in the area of Ginza. If you want to eat over there, you have to make a reservation for at least 3 years before. It's very, very difficult to eat over there. Expensive and difficult. You can see here this picture. We had Barack Obama in the spring of 2014, and we had also Enzo Abe, the first minister of Japan in that moment. And Obama said that after they ate this sushi, they say the best food that they have in his own life. Can you see that? But is Hiro Ono Sensei attend to you? 99 years old in 2014, is now they have around 98. He's still alive. Yeah, is one of the best chefs in the world about sushi. As his own passion, he said, when you ask that, what is your own passion? What is your real purpose of your life? He always said, I like to cut my fish because I want to make the perfection to cut my fish. Every year he get up like that. His son now is the CEO of the restaurant, but he's moving around his ikigai and kodawari himself, and moving around. What is the perfection for improvement? What is the real root in the improvement in your own job? The real roots in your improvement is your purpose of your life, your passion of your life. Like the Japanese call the kodawari, the commitment, yeah, when you are doing every day. That is the reason that the Kaizen philosophy is inside of you. That is the reason the Kaizen philosophy is inside of you and is growing around. Hiro Ono Sensei, the chef, started like a junior chef and moving around in all the years, doing the same in the clear routine to improve in a slowly movement to go around to be the best. But he didn't think about he will be the best. He think like I love that what every day I do it. Every day I do it the best and I'm moving around like that. So when I understand that, when I study that, when I study the Ikigai issue in Japan, also I started to think what's happening in our cultures. I mean, in Mesoamerican cultures. Yeah? Do they think the same? Do they think the same issue? Do they think the same activities? And my surprise when I said I started to study Maya's culture, I discovered that they have the same concept many years before that the Japanese have, because the Japanese started with the Código Bushido Code in the samurai era between the 13th century and 18th century, and the Mayas started in the 2nd century after Christ, and then they finish in the 8th century, 9th century. And they have this word that is called Malokin. Malokin is mean improvement. That is the same issue like Kaizen in Japanese. So I started to study the job and the management that they have to do it in the classic period, in the period that you already said, between the second century of after Christ and then in the 8th century after Christ. This is the classic period of the Maya's culture. And they are experts to make obsidian weapons, builder, craftsmen. And they expert to moving around this malachite concept to improve in the construction of pyramids through the stucco masonry. Mayan life, this stucco masonry is what does. When you see the pyramids today, you can see all grades, white and black, and they say, oh, wow, very old. But when in that moment, all the pyramids that's covered by this stucco masonry in a white side, and sometimes they paint in the red. So you can see impressive cities. There are cities like Tikal, for example, they have around 20,000 people. 20,000 people live over there in the jungle, in the middle of the jungle. Can you imagine that? Yeah, now I knew myself because I was in Indonesia in 1995 in Jakarta and Bali, and I discovered that also you have ancient cultures also. When you see your ancient ruins, you say, oh, well, I will do it like this, etc. But when you study in a deep way, you discover a lot of things very impressive about it. Also, they are master farmers. Literally, they create of the corn plant because they started to experiment, Kaizen experiment PDCA with the plant moving around, and they went around to the big corn plant. And they know it also about the tomato, the chile, the bean, the pumpkin, among others, and they cross around a symbiotic environment to do it. It's a really impressive that where they do it, and they can make food for everybody, 20,000 people in Tikal, 10,000 people in Palenque. Palenque and Tikal is the name of the cities, are really impressive. Also master astronomers. They have 3 calendars. The Hab calendar of 365 days, the Solkin calendar 260 days, and the long count is 5,200 years. The calendars calculate equinoxes, the orbit of Venus, solstices, the movement of Jupiter and Saturn in really impressive. Some experts say that they have 3 minutes mistakes when they calculate the orbit of Venus without computers. Can you see that? Without computers, impressive. Okay. These 3 calendars put together link it in daily life and the religious field and the context of the universe. But here the important thing is they made everything and create his own writing issue, like the kanjis in Japanese. Also the Mayas have ideograms, and each ideogram has his own significance. So the parallel between cultures is very impressive because both cultures is focused always in improvement. I think the reason sometimes is different in every culture. I think for the Mayas is more a religious issue, more than the creenance of the gods, and for the samurais issue, for the Kaizen issue, is more related also with the religion issue, but also by themselves. But both of them have the person in the center. The person is important, but because somebody said that the pyramids was built by slaves, it was not slaves. They are workers. They have the whole possibility to do it. So it's very interesting. There, of course, there had slaves with some in those issues, and they have the war issue also inside of the culture. But the people that is the craftsman is what related with workers. Okay. So I started to do it, and I published my first output of my research in Maya culture in this paper that in the Asian Business International Asian Pacific Business International Journal, because I wanted to start to explore and to test my model of developed people. And this is our model that we came. This model tried to help the people to develop his own purpose in their lives and his own vision. And this combined all the Malokit concept of improvement, yes, of improvement of the Maya culture, and combine the Kaizen philosophy inside in a one model to develop these people to grow every day. This model has, this is the first presentation in Indonesia, and Rizky-san, we are in a project together to make a translation of my book. I will talk about that in a few minutes, of my book in Indonesian language. But this model tried to put 4 great pillars for the persons that is related with these values that we already talked about that. And we include the modesty, and we include also the pride of work. These 4 models using honor, constancy, discipline, pride, and modesty, this is the best columns to support all your own tree in your personal life. Then we had a platform that we call Kodawari Hansei. Remember, Kodawari is the word of Japanese, the commitment of the word, passion of the word, commitment, and Hansei is the word of reflection. Because everybody is moving around. See, yes, in every day. And finally, we have some spheres here. We have 4 spheres that's moving around for this purpose. We have a personal vision that is looking for this path we are looking for. We have the improvement action plan. We are going to do it what we have to do it to go to the personal vision. We have the passion of Kaizen that is looking for this pride for every day, moving around, that's moving around in handling and vocation in our work. And finally, we have the cooperative responsibility that I think we need a lot in our work today. We need to help people also to grow. If we grow as a Kaizen person, as a cat Kaizen person, also you have to help another people to grow with that. We can create teamwork. We have to create Kaizen teams. We have to create QCC, and we have to work together to improve our problems in operational process. But we have to grow together to improve our problems in our personal life also. And finally, I want to finish with this claim of William Edward Deming professor. William Deming professor always said the administrative system has destroyed our people. People are born with intrinsic motivations, self-esteem, dignity, curiosity, creativity, and I will say another more, pride of his work, passion of his work, and the joy of learning. The force of this destruction are the very methods, techniques of the 20th century, what we already talked at the beginning of the conference, that we create for wanting to control our people or our operation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
And
Manuel.
finally, thank you, Erlanga. I will say that we already talked. We are in this project. Cat Kaizen, it will be in Indonesian language. I'm very happy for that. Rizky-san helped me with that project. This is a joint venture project between Mexico and Latin American effort and Indonesia effort. And I'm very happy to do that. And you can read about also for all the marvelous issues about the Maya culture, but also combine the real Kaizen philosophy inside of that. And what is the most important thing of the book? You can help people. You can help people to grow in different stage in your organization, to maintain different levels, to grow to the start level, to basic element levels, yeah. Kenshin level, that is the beginning level that we call Chun in Mayas. Tankunj level is the middle levels. And finally, advanced level that is Nol-Ignal or sensei level to grow in your organization. Because remember, Kaizen is the issue to improve your own process, but also improve your own people. If you forget that, you are not in the Kaizen philosophy now. If you want to introduce your Kaizen issue, your Kaizen approach in your organization to grow with his own people, your own people, in a movement on a continuous improvement culture, in a movement on a continuous improvement path, you have to moving around with using these values, using this model to grow with all people around your organization. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Manuel Sang. I have a questions actually, but a bit longer, so I will ask through Teresia. Tere, jadi pertanyaannya itu kan 2 tahun terakhir ini kita banyak pandemi gitu. Pandemi ini kan merubah banyak cara bekerja dan pekerjaan orang-orang nih. Jadi kalau misalnya saya dulu bekerja di sektor food and beverage gitu misalnya, terus tahu-tahu saya kena pandemi, terus harus pindah ke bisnis jasa gitu. Jadi kan passionnya nih berubah nih. Terus kira-kira apakah itu juga kalau ada perubahan passion kayak gitu, apakah secara Kaizen itu ada tips and trick buat menghadapi kayak gitulah gitu. Makasih Tere.
Okay, I will translate into English. The question from Mr. Elanga is back in these 2 years during pandemic, some of us and maybe many of us has encountered a change of industries. For example, we started in automotive, and suddenly because of the pandemic, we stopped work in automotive and we have to start work in other industry, for example, food and beverage. How do you have a tips or trick to find that passion again? Because, for example, our patient are actually in automotive, but because of the pandemic and we still have to feed our family, we just take a job in food and beverage industry, but we don't really have passion on food and beverage industry. Do you have a tips to grow that passion in industry that we don't have passion?
Yeah. What an excellent question. First of all, I want to say that the pandemic make a big hit in many of us, many of the organization. That is clear in all over the world. It's not just for your country. It's around all over the world. Second one, I want to say that most of the companies that it was working in Kaizen before the pandemic, it was more stronger and resist a lot of that. Why? Because they are very low cost, operational low cost, and they don't fire anybody because the low cost is very, very strong. So that's a very important point. And third one, I want to say that if you had to go to another kind of way of life, in another job, that's when one of the main issues is to start to thinking and to rediscover your purpose of your life. I think the passion to be more calm and issue, you had to go to rediscover your purpose of your life. I will have a time to make that Teresa make the translation and we'll explain another things. Okay?
Oke, jadi Mas Angga, salah satu tipsnya adalah untuk menemukan atau discover tujuan hidup kita apa nih, walaupun kita udah pindah industri, tapi kan pasti ada satu tujuan hidup kita tuh yang masih menjadi pokok tujuan hidup Mas Angga, misalnya untuk merubah industri menjadi lebih bisa WFH misalnya gitu. Jadi tujuannya itu apa gitu untuk di-discover di industri yang baru.
Oke. Jadi perlu waktu buat itu, buat apa? Adaptasinya lagi berarti ya?
Yeah. So Mr. Angga said, so we have to adapt again to find our purpose of life in the new industry.
That's important. Yes, I will make an example for my own life. I didn't lose my job because the university continues in online way, yeah. But however, I had to change most of my practice in my life. And I started to think in a Kaizen way model to rediscover one of the issues of my life. I said, what I want to say is what happened to me if I be fired. Yeah? So I started to make three things. First thing, I to make a craftsman. Yeah, I make a greenhouse in my home, in my own garden. I will never do that. I started to learn how to make a greenhouse at the beginning. I make a project around 4 months to meet the plants and everything. That's the first point. Second point, I start a collections of big gene figures, in the 70 figures, a toy. This Action Man Big Gene, they call Big Gene. And I started a collection. I started a business because I started to buy the toy and then sell the toy using the platform of Amazon, etc., etc. So why you have to do that? Because you never, that's a very important point, never lose your own passion of what is the motivation that every day you have to get up with a passion, because every day you have to grow up your own tree inside of you. So explore. My recommendation and my thing, explore. You have one day off day, started to explore what is your new purpose, or maybe a redesign purpose of your life. That's a very important point. Thank you.
Oke, jadi I will translate in bahasa. Mr. Manuel share kalau misalnya dia nggak kehilangan pekerjaannya karena university masih terus berjalan walaupun online. Tapi kalau Manuel Sang harus berhenti bekerja atau get fired, apa yang akan dia lakukan adalah yang pertama dia explore. Salah satunya adalah build greenhouse atau membangun greenhouse di halaman rumahnya. Yang kedua itu collecting 70s action figure atau mengkoleksi vintage stuff gitu. Dan dari mengkoleksi itu dia bahkan jadi membuat bisnis baru where you can sell and buy. Jadi orang bisa beli dan jual si action figure itu. Jadi sarannya adalah setiap pagi itu, setiap kita bangun itu kita harus punya motivasi untuk tujuan hidup kita. Kalaupun kita nggak tahu motivasinya apa, we have to explore. Jadi kita harus mencoba mencari, kita harus dari explore itu kita akan bisa grow our own trees. Jadi kan Kai dan Zen itu pohonnya, the trees is Zen, so you have to tetap explore and grow your own trees. Kalau ada pertanyaan lagi, bisa di-share sebelum kita mungkin close this session. So, I think waiting another question, I actually have a question. I'm very interested in Ikigai. I actually read a book about Ikigai, where you have to have a purpose that fit your life, that serve a purpose to help others too, right? The Ikigai concept. But however, it seems like not everybody can find our Ikigai section. So other than exploring our purpose, do you have another tips or trick where we can balance our Ikigai square?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, well, first of all, I want to say that the Ikigai model is not a Japanese model. Yeah, I think that's first. Yeah. It was developed in USA.
Oh.
It was developed in USA. The Japanese don't have these spheres. They don't have that. He's in a natural way. Yeah. It was developed in USA. That's important. And sometimes for me, it's also complex, this model, because the people don't understand very well how to do it. And he's discovered that. That's why I grow my bootcat Kaizen. Because my bootcat Kaizen has his own exercise, very simple way to discover your own purpose. And one of the way is to follow all the model, the columns, the platform, and there your sphere, and you're going to come to 2 outputs. That's very important, because it's not just your own purpose. We have to discover also your personal vision, because your personal vision is your path. And then every day you have to do something that is your purpose. So it's like vision and mission moving around in the same way. When you discover this link, you discover your real purpose in your life. So that's a very key word for that. So book is coming very close, Teresia. So I think you are very happy to read and to understand. And any question, please don't hesitate to tell me. Okay.
Yes, sure. I will. Can't wait to read your and Mr. Rizky new book. Okay, I think we have a question from Mr. Lukman.
Bu Teresia,
Ya.
sampaikan. Saya mau menanya terkait dengan tips dan triknya. Terkadang ketika apply suatu Kaizen, suatu perusahaan, itu terkendala terkait dengan budget. Misalnya dari manajemen itu tidak menyetujui. Nah, ini gimana tips dan triknya? Seperti itu aja. Kemudian untuk yang kedua, gimana tips dan triknya supaya untuk Kaizen itu bisa apply di perusahaan dari top down gitu. Karena kebanyakan tuh bottom up agak susah gitu untuk apply-nya. Oke, itu aja.
Yang kedua bisa diulang, Pak?
Terkait dengan Kaizen komite, biasanya itu harus ada top down dari pihak top manajemen sampai ke bawahan itu ada instruksi. Tapi kalau memang dari bawahan ke atasan agak susah gitu. Apalagi yang berhubungan dengan anggaran seperti itu.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so we have another question from Mr. Lukman.
Please.
He was asking, usually Kaizen is applied from top to down. For example, like the management will suggest that, we have to have improvement in middle and then low management. How do you have a trick where we from low management or from maybe from operations to actually have a sound to top management? And the second one, usually the Kaizen in Indonesia was applied from top to down because of the budget.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Do you have a tricks if we already suggest a Kaizen or improvement, but the top manager, we cannot do this because we don't have the budget?
But there is a two important point here. First of all, of course, one of the driver of the Kaizen issue is the strong commitment of the top managers. That's a very important point. Yeah, that's very clear, and everybody in all over the world will use it. Yeah, strong top commitment of the top manager is very important. That's a very important point. But here we have to differentiate two ways of improvement. The classical way is the top manager says something, and you have to do an improvement like that and go top down. Yeah. This is our person, Lukman San said about that. But we have another one that is very important, and so many people forget about that. And then we use that, the power of persons. Yeah, that is bottom-up approach. Of course, with the top management commitment, The bottom-up approach is very important issue because people in the Gemba, in the place, that happen to the things happen in the Gemba. Remember the Japanese word Gemba, yeah, is the things happen, is looking for the problems, and they know very close the process. So you have to allow the people to create Kaizen things, not just for the top-down direction, also in the operational area, to help them to make autonomous improvements. So sometimes the combination is to move incremental solving problems in the Gemba, in the operational process, bottom-on approach to make projects to improvement. And sometimes also is a top-down instruction. And for the budget issue is important. Some improvements that are in the Gemba is very cheap because most of them, they don't know how to fix it. The workers, they don't know how to fix it. And sometimes it's very, very cheap. And we don't need a lot of budget to do it. But we just need the capacity of the managers to have the opportunity to the workers to improve. If we forget that, we are very low, also very far away about the Kaizen philosophy, because Kaizen philosophy needs people to making improves in everywhere, every place, in all the plan, all the organization. Help people to have the bottom-on approach, not just top-down. Because the bottom-on approach, we close to you, to the people, and help them, also we're talking about the purpose, to find a purpose, and they are going to feel very proud of what are they doing every day. That's my recommendation, and that's very important. Most of the organization, I will be a supervisor and as a coach about that in all over the world. I usually use both approaches, top-down Most of them, then the top down is for more radical improvement, more improvement project, radical improvement, and then bottom on approach using problem solving approach. We call in Kaizen philosophy, we call kata methods. Yeah, kata methods. Problem solving approach.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Manuel.
Perlu di-translate, Mas Lukman?
Nggak usah, Bu.
Okay. Yeah. Any more question? Okay, maybe if there is no more question, I have one more last question.
Thank you. You are very happy for that.
So we know that the nature of change are resistant to change.
Yes.
How if there is a very high resistance to change in one organization or one division? Like even though the change is radical from top to down, but there's like very high resistance of change from the operational management or someone that is from bottom to top. Like maybe they're old school, and then we give them a new machine that is actually helpful, very helpful to get improvement. But like, no, I don't want to change into this machine, like this so troublesome and stuff. How do you manage that resistance of change?
Well, every organization, every person in all over the world have resistance of change. Why? Because everybody are in a status quo issue. Do you understand the point? Yeah, we're in a very comfortable way in our status quo, and everybody want to change. There are two ways of change when you want to break the status quo. First of all, by crisis. Yeah, if somebody be in a crisis, they have to change. That's a very classical way. The second one is by proactive vision. I mean, vision, personal vision. When you see the light to the end of the tunnel, yeah, that is the most difficult situation because you have to read a book, you have to be somebody had to inspire to you. It's very difficult. So when I go to the organizations, I have I would want to say a very key tool for me. The very key tool for me is to involve people. If you want to do something with Kaizen issue, you have to involve the people. The people had to do it. Because somebody said, the consultant, we want to do it, everything. No, this is a big mistake. Involve people, yeah, make a strong impact in resisting to change, because involving is looking for the proactive vision. And sometimes for crisis, because they know they have some problems. The first question to say to the people, do you have a problem in your operational process? The first answer is, we don't have. And asking again, really? Let's go to the game. And when we see the problem in the game, everything is changed. And the people involved by themselves, and they started to involve in the problem and in the improvement actions. That's clear.
Yes. Okay, so I think that's all. So I will thank you so much, Manuel-san, for your sharing, for your knowledge. We are very honored, and I think everyone here and the people that will rewatch this session will have very open-minded that you are actually our light in our tunnel, that you are so inspiring to make us understand more about Kaizen, that it's not only about operations, but in our daily life, in our family life, and actually everything that we do, that we have to get better through improvement and Kaizen concept. So I think that's all for me. I will pass this mic to Mas Rizky. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresia. Thank you for everybody. It was a pleasure to be with you. I know you are in the late night, but I'm very happy to be with you. 12 hours of difference, but I would like to say, don't forget Kaizen issue. Kaizen issue is in your life. I want to say
Manuel
thank you in Indonesia. Terima kasih.
Manuel-san.
Rizky-san, thank you. Thank you.
I will share about our project, Manuel Sang.
Thank you, please, go.
Okay, please share about slide.
Yes, I will share.
Last slide.
Udah di-share Mas Rizky tadi?
Nah, oke. Jadi terima kasih banget teman-teman semua ya yang hadir di Swapcard ataupun di Zoom. Jadi paling saya tambahin sedikit aja untuk yang dijelasin oleh Profesor Manuel ini terkait Kaizen. Kaizen yang dijelaskan oleh Manuel Sang ini tentang filosofi Kaizen. Beliau meneliti persamaan dengan budaya dari Amerika, suku Maya. Jadi kalau teman-teman baca buku ini seru banget, termasuk yang tadi Mbak Tere sampaikan ya, Ikigai-nya pun ada versi suku Mayanya. Jadi di Kaizen ini nggak hanya dijelaskan tentang apa itu Kaizen, gitu, tapi ada Nya, dari suku Mayanya. Nah, insya Allah ini sedang dalam proses translate ke bahasa Indonesia, jadi nanti mungkin akan saya share kalau buku ini sudah selesai ditranslatekan dan sudah dapat izin langsung dari Profesor Manuel. Dan selanjutnya saya akan share terkait proyek kita, saya dan Profesor Manuel, dan proyek bersama juga ini sebenarnya, tentang Kaizen Method. Jadi Kaizen itu kan lebih ke filosofinya, tapi bagaimana implementasi di perusahaan atau organisasi. Yang tadi sempat ditanyakan, gimana kalau pandemi gitu kan, before sama after pandemi ada perubahan, bagaimana tips dan triks dari Kaizen. Lalu ada beberapa level yang tadi Manuel Sang jelaskan juga, bahwa Kaizen itu ada 3 level, dari Chun gitu sampai dengan Master Kaizen. Nah, nanti di situ pun akan ada metode-metode gimana sih kita implementasi Kaizen di sebuah organisasi yang sekarang sedang diteliti oleh Profesor Manuel, dan insya Allah saya join juga di situ. Dan saya juga sedang meneliti di beberapa perusahaan di Indonesia. Jadi kalau untuk teman-teman yang tertarik, penasaran gimana implementasi Kaizen method di organisasi, silakan di chat aja di Swapcard ya, Pak Angga ya, masih aktif ya? Masih
Iya, Mas Rizky, masih.
Ya, jadi MRO Indonesia akan memfasilitasi kita untuk interaksi terkait Kaizen ini, dan akan kita luncurkan bukunya di tahun 2022 ini, teman-teman. Jadi tahun 2022 ini Profesor Manuel akan ada 2 buku yang launching di Indonesia. Yang pertama Kaizen, itu terkait filosofinya. Lalu yang kedua Kaizen Method, itu terkait implementasi di organisasi, seperti itu. Mungkin seperti itu aja tambahan dari saya, Mbak Tere. Terima kasih.
Mas,
Selanjutnya
terima kasih.
closing statement silakan dari Mbak Tere.
Oke, terima kasih Mas Rizky. Thank you, Professor Manuel. So we can't wait to read your translation book and can't wait to buy Mas Rizky collaboration book with you. That we believe we will learn so much from you both. Thank you once again. Thank you so much to spend your time with us. And Mas Rizky, terima kasih banyak sudah menyiapkan waktunya untuk gabung sama kita di Indonesia. Dan buat semua partisipan di Swapcard maupun di Zoom, terima kasih banyak sudah
mungkin
meluangkan
dokumentasi
waktunya.
Dulu Mbak Tere.
Oh ya, boleh.
Teman-teman.
Mas Angga yang dokumentasi ya?
Boleh. Bentar. Mungkin
Ya,
bagi yang berkenan mungkin bisa di open cam dulu. Oke. Sebentar. Ini mungkin saya screen share-nya saya matiin dulu boleh?
Iya.
Bentar, saya agak sulit nih. Oke. Oke, sebentar.
Well, thank you very much. Terima kasih for everybody. It was a pleasure to be with you. Thank you, Rizky-san, for the invitation. Thank you, Teresia, Thank you, Erlanga, for your help and for your translation. It was a pleasure. It will be always a big collaboration between Mexico, Latin American, and Indonesia. I think we are going to start a very beautiful project to help more people, to help more companies to understand, to explore, and to make an implementation of Kaizen in your own life and your own process. Thank you very much.
Oke, thank you very much. Selamat
Thank you
malam
so much.
semuanya.
Malam.
Bye-bye.
Terima kasih semuanya teman-teman.